Hello again, everyone. In this technical analysis of the stock market video, we're going to take a look at the Nasdaq Composite today. And I titled this video Next Week because next week really could hold the key as to whether or not we continue to sell off here, take out the August 5th lows and challenge the June lows, or do we go in the opposite direction and take out the July highs and keep pushing higher. I think next week could hold the key. So let's take a look at this. So right now on Friday, the market's backed off. See how the market on Thursday closed as part of this 3-day bounce. It closed back up here above the 10-day moving average. This is the blue line is my 10 exponential moving average. You see that right there. Okay. The blue-gray line is the 21 simple. Okay, so we pulled back above it, and then on Friday we backed off on it again. Exactly like what happened over here in May. We rallied back for 3 days after a very strong little push to the downside, after a very strong push to the downside here in August. We bounced for 3 days. We bounced for 3 days. We backed off. Now, are we going to continue to sell off like we did in May and take out the prior low in here, which equates to the August 5th low? Or are we going to do something different? Okay, that's what we're watching. The market was down 80 on Friday. That's the Nasdaq Composite for the week. When you look at the weekly chart, it was down 44.93. So Friday really, gave it back in terms of what it did, in terms of creating this loss for the week. Anyway, now when you look at the range for the week, clearly it broke this trend line in here. We'll see whether or not we don't, wants to get any kind of continuation to the downside. We don't have the moving averages rolling over on the weekly yet, like it did back in October. So that's something else to keep an eye on. So let's take a look at the Elliott wave picture. Now, the preferred count that I've got here on the Nasdaq is I'm working this basically this large, let me zoom in a little bit, or zoom out, I guess, is a bigger picture. This large flat, this A, B, C flat, 3-wave, and I'm looking for a 5-wave down. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for in here. And of course, in order for that scenario to play out, we're going to need to keep rolling back over and coming down, taking out the August 5th low, then taking out the June 3rd low. Now, if it does something different, like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, then we'll be looking at not this scenario, we'll be looking at this scenario. And let me go to the weekly view to make it a little bit easier. We'll be looking at this scenario that says, hey, we're working a 5th intermediate wave to the upside, and we're working our way up in some manner like this. Now, the thing about a 5th wave, it could be impulsive, a straight classic impulsive wave, or it could be some kind of ending diagonal. And so we have to keep watching the wave count to see how that evolves. So right now, I'm looking for it to roll back over. Looking at that wave count. Let's take a look at the McClellan Oscillator and see what one of those indicators that I watch on a regular basis is telling us. Okay, so let me zoom in a little bit so you can see the title. This is the Nasdaq McClellan Oscillator. Now, here's what happened on August 5th. First of all, let me just mention that this dotted line down here is minus 150. This is the 0 line, and this is plus 150. When you get above 150, you're considered to be extremely overbought. When you get below minus 150, you're considered to be extremely oversold. So we got extremely oversold on August 5th, and it was the most oversold of the year. You can see it went well beyond anything that happened in March or in June, May, June. And it didn't quite get to the extreme that happened on December 24th. But notice, too, that it was very similar to what happened back over here in October of last year. October got to an extreme well below what had happened for many months, 8 to 10 months. And then we bounced back. We bounced back up here to minus 46 from all the way down here, minus 292. So what did we do quickly here? From minus 238 all the way up here to minus 41. Back up into almost like what I call the neutral zone, or up plus and minus around the 0 line. Now, it's going to be real interesting. Do we mirror, if we come back down and we sell off with the market, the oscillator back here in October came back down but did not go to a lower low. The market did. Okay, when the market when the market pushed down around October 24th and a little bit after, it went to a new low in the sell-off. But the oscillator did not, and that created a bullish divergence in here. So I'll be watching to see if that happens here on the Nasdaq. And again, it's the same scenario, same kind of picture that I'm seeing on the New York, for the New York McClellan Oscillator. Okay, so that's the picture there with the McClellan. Let's take a look at gold and see what it's doing in terms of any kind of flight to safety and that type of thing. I look at the yen a little bit in that same scenario, but we talked about that last week. Let's look at gold. Okay, here is the view of gold. This is a daily view. You can see that right down here. And this is my moving average view. It's got some of the indicators on it. And right now you can see that gold was down 47 cents on Friday, a little bit of consolidation going on. We definitely have divergence that's showing up between this move in here, between the highs here and the highs this last week. So I am expecting, when I look over here at the Elliott wave picture, there we go. I am expecting this to complete in terms of a 5-wave move, complete this first wave up fairly soon. If I look at the hourly view in here, here's what I think's going on. I think we've had 1, 2, 3, 4, and working one more little push to the upside is what I'm expecting, and then we'll get a little more corrective activity. But you can see this is my 65-minute chart, and the last couple hours, everything is kind of compressing in here. And we either are at or very close to the end of this 4th wave. And I think we're going to get one more push up, and then that should do it. Okay, that is the picture for gold at the moment. And that's it for this weekend. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it the thumbs up. And if you would like to have more of this kind of information, head on over to joehenches.net and check out the membership. Everyone have a great weekend. We'll talk to you on the next video.